They added, there's no such title as Crown Prosecutor in Russia. The Crown Prosecuting Service is a British term, but the equivalent in Russia is the Prosecutor General of Russia, probably the FBI or the Attorney General. The office is held by Yuri Yakovlevich Chaka, a Putin appointee who was known to be close to Miss Velselnitskaya. Don't ask the brother from the hood to be pronouncing no Russian names. All right. Going to arrange a meeting. After sending back his reply, I love it, especially later in the summer, when the voters' attention would be highlighted by the approaching election, Donald Trump Jr. arranged to speak with Amin, sending along his private cell phone number on June 6th. Okay, on the stage in Moscow, but should be off within 20 minutes. Okay, he's on the stage in Moscow. He should be off in 20 minutes, so I'm sure he can call. Mr. Goldstein wrote in the email at 3:43 p.m. Within the hour, Donald Trump Jr. had responded, Rob, thanks for the help, D. The next day, Mr. Goldstein followed up, Don, hope all is well. Amin asked that I schedule a meeting with you and the Russian government attorney who is flying over from Moscow for this Thursday. Okay, so Trump's son meets with a Russian government attorney. Trump's son is not running for office. He can meet with whoever the freak you want to meet. You're aware of this meeting, and so wondered if 3 p.m. or later on Thursday will work for you. All right, Mr. Goldstone emails contradict statements he made in his interview with the Times on Monday, when he said that he did not know whether the elder Mr. Aglarov had any role in arranging the meeting, and that he had no knowledge of any official Russian government role in the offer to provide Trump campaign with dirt on Mrs. Clinton. Instead, he said that Mrs. Velselnitskaya had contacted Amin directly, and that Amin asked to reach out to the Trumps as a favor to her. I actually asked him at one point how he knew her, and he said, I can't remember, but I know thousands of people, he said in the interview. Subsequently, effort to reach Mr. Goldstone, who acknowledged in the interview that he had spoken with someone at the Trump organization over the weekend in anticipation of news media attention, and have been unsuccessful. Mr. Goldstein on June 7th follow-up email wrote, I will send the names of 2 people meeting with you for security when I have them later today. By that time, as the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, Mr. Trump was already under the protection of Secret Service, and access to Trump Towers in New York was strictly controlled. Mrs. Velselnitskaya told the Times that the person who accompanied her was an interpreter who she declined to name. After being informed that the Russian lawyer could not make the 3 p.m. time that had been proposed and agreed to move it by an hour, Donald Trump Jr. forwarded the entire email chain to Mr. Kushner company work email and to Mr. Manafort at his Trump campaign email. Meeting got moved to 4 tomorrow at my office, he wrote on June 8th. Best, Don. Mr. Kushner recently disclosed the fact of the meeting, though not the content, in revised form, on which all these seeking top secret security clearance are required to list contacts with foreign government official and their representative. That's for Trump. That's not for Trump Jr. That's for Trump. That's not Trump Jr. Trump Jr. do not hold a political office. So that wouldn't be classified, because that's not government business. That's business. That's campaigning. The Times reported, let me go back. Mr. Kushner recently disclosed the fact of the meeting, though not the content in revised form, on which all these seeking top secret security clearance are required to list contacts. And here it is. All those who are seeking top secret security clearance. Were they seeking top secret security clearance? Probably so. Did they get it? Probably not. But they're required to list contacts with foreign government officials and their representative. The Times reported, now why would he want to seek top secret clearance and he's not going to be working in the government? he's going to be running his father's business. Think about that. Why? The Times reported in April that he had failed to list his foreign contacts, including with several Russians. His lawyer has called those omissions an error. Mr. Manafort also disclosed that a meeting had occurred and that Donald Trump Jr. had organized it in response to one of the Russians-related congressional investigations. Representatives for both men did not immediately respond to the request for the comment. Ms. Veselnitskaya arrived the next day and was ushered in Donald Trump's junior office for a meeting with what amounted to the Trump campaign brain trust. Besides having political connected clients, one of whom was under investigation by federal prosecutors at the time of the meeting, Mrs. Veselnitskaya is well known for her lobbying efforts against the Magnitsky Act, 2012 law that punishes designated Russian human rights observers by allowing the United States to seize their assets and keep them from entering the country. The law so angered Putin that he retaliated by barring American families from adopting Russian children. Her activities and association have brought to her an attention of the FBI, according to the former senior law enforcement official. When first contacted by the Times on Saturday, Donald Trump Jr. portrayed the meeting this way. It was a short introductory meeting. I asked Jared and Paul to stop by. We primarily discussed the program about adopting of Russian children that was active and popular with American families years ago and was since ending by the Russian government. But it was not a campaign issued at the time, and there was no follow-up. Responding to query. The next day, after the Time informed that it was preparing an article that would say the meeting also involved a discussion about potential compromising material on Mrs. Clinton, he issued another statement. I was asked to have a meeting by acquaintance I knew from the 2013 Miss Universe pageant with an individual who I was told might have information helpful to the campaign. I was not told her name prior to the meeting. I asked Jared and Paul to attend, but told them nothing of the substance. He continued. After pleasantries were exchanged and the woman stated that she had information that individually connected to Russia were funding the Democratic National Convention and supporting Mrs. Clinton, where statements were, let me read that again. He continued, after pleasantries were exchanged, the woman stated that she had information that individuals connected to Russia were funding, now that is a crime, the DNC committee. And this is not the first time, because during Clinton, they were caught with Chinese people funding her campaign also, or her husband's campaign. So there's nothing new. So I don't doubt this. Somebody went to jail for that. All right, so that somebody from Russia was giving money into the DNC. That's what they're saying. I wouldn't doubt it. They're crooked. Crooked as they come. Her statement were vague, ambiguous, and made no sense. No detail or supporting information was provided or offered. It quickly became clear that she had no meaningful information. She then changed the subject and begins discussing the adoption of Russian children and mentioned the Magnitsky Act. It became clear to me that this was the true agenda all along, and that the claims of potentially helpful information were a pretext for the meeting. Mr. Goldstone recalled the meeting in which, the same way, Mrs. V, and I'm going to call her V because her name is too hard, offered just a vague, generic statement about the campaign funding and how people, including Russian people living all over the world, donated when they shouldn't donate it, before turning to her anti-Magnitsky Act argument. He said it was the most inane nonsense I've ever heard. Ms. V, for her part, said in a statement that the Times sent this past weekend that nothing at all about the presidential campaign had been discussed at the Trump Tower meeting, and that she had never acted on behalf of the Russian government, and that she had never discussed any of these matters with any representative of the Russian government. She has not responded to the request for comment since. A spokesman for Mr. Putin said on Monday that he didn't know Mrs. V and that he had no knowledge of the June 26th meeting. And he shouldn't. That's none of his business. He don't know. Leave the man alone. Back in Washington, both the White House and the spokesman for President Trump's lawyer have taken pains to distance the president from the meeting, saying that he did not attend it, and that he learned about it only recently. And a point Donald Trump Jr. reiterated Tuesday in his interview on Fox News, as he also said he would testify under oath in any of the investigation into possible collusion between Russia and his father's campaign. Ms. Argalarov did not respond to a request for comment. Amin, the pop star at the center of it all, would not comment on the matter either. Mr. Goldstone, his publisher, said on Monday, Amin said to me that I could not tell journalists that. You know, he has decided to go with just a straight no comment. Mr. Goldstone said his reasoning for that is simple, that he believes that by him commenting in any way from Russia, it once again will open up the debate of Trump, Russia, which it would have. Now here's another person from Russia. Now here's another person from Russia. So he wants to just not comment on the story. That is his reasoning. It's the story will play out however it plays out. So to sum it up, Donald Trump, had somebody that Papa Trump wanted to do some business with in Russia. He was known as the Donald Trump of Russia. They were trying to work a deal together, make big deals, as Trump would say. And somehow it didn't come to fruition. All right, so Donald Trump on the campaign trail got a note email saying, hey, look, I think I got some dirt on Clinton. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's supposed to happen. All campaigns do it. They look for dirt on the other candidates. That's just the way it is. They do. And somebody said they had dirt on Hillary Clinton. And the dirt was supposed to be people from other countries, including Russia, donating into her campaign, which nobody's supposed to do that unless overseas Americans. But that was only supposed to be done in the U.S. All right. So nothing burger. She came. She mentioned it. But the point is, she was using that tactic to get to him to start talking about the U.S. disregarding Putin's act and start back having interest in adopting children. So this whole Russia mess, the final bottom line was this woman was using everything else to get to Donald Trump Jr. to talk about fighting against that act and possibly come up with something better where people like me who loves kids can adopt people from other countries, especially Russia. So this Russia is still crap. It doesn't have any footing, has no evidence. It's still about dominating the narrative. It's still a witch hunt to get Trump out of office so you can get something worse, Pence. Be careful what you wish for, Democrats. Maxine Waters and all these nutcase politicians. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Because Pence know how to work that Congress. So you got a bottle up Trump and Pence. The cool, collective, calm part of Trump is in Pence. And you want that. There's not a crime in talking to my Russian business partner. There's not a crime for me to talk to his lawyer. Now, if his lawyer work in the government and my business partner decide to talk to me, I ain't got nothing to do with that. So stop that. Ultimately, she wanted to use that leverage to get the Trumps to talk about this adoption issue. It's a nothing burger. So take this narrative, turn it up, and stick it up your candy behind, just like the last one. I'm BOBTV, Freedom on Fire. Peace. Hey, this is your boy BOBTV with Freedom on Fire and Rob Report. I want to thank you for watching the webcast. Make sure you share these segments all across your social media network. Like and share, subscribe, and maybe invite a couple other people to do the same thing. You make the difference. I also want to thank you for those who support this channel through Patreon, whether it's 50 cents to $50 million. It goes right back into what we do here. So like the lights that you're looking at right now, that's because of something that you did. So I really appreciate it. I want to thank my man Vegematic for the Blue Yeti mic, one of the top microphones out right now. He knew I needed the mic, so he blessed me with it. So all of you guys make the difference into this channel growing, and I really want to appreciate you for that. Also, by all means, again, continue to share your comments at the bottom of each video. Just don't get so visceral to the people who may disagree with me or may disagree with you. This calling out name stuff, that's not for this channel. So please try not to call people names, personal names. Now you can call some of the stuff they talk about crap. I say that, but just don't attack people personally. Words really hurt when you start attacking people personally, because these people really believe these things, and you're not gonna take away their belief by calling them names. So please don't do that on this channel. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys. We're shooting for 2,000 now, so I need your help. So as my pastor would say, reach one, teach one. I mean, let's reach out. You got the information. Make sure you share with other people and try to get them to subscribe to the channel so we can grow and expand. Again, the money, the finances that you give in your Patreon account, it goes into equipment. So I want to thank you for personally helping this endeavor grow. And on BOBTV, Freedom on Fire, Rob Report. Peace.